I told my girlfriend that she's not a trophy wife or status symbol and that we are similar in attractiveness. She views it as me calling her old and ugly. A bit of background. My girlfriend and I are 30 and 31 respectively. We've been dating for about a year. I work as a high-level engineer at a good firm, and my girlfriend works as a payroll specialist at a good firm too. I make significantly more than her, about 3 times. Things were going good in our relationship until I showed her my retirement/savings. She now doesn't see the point of working and has started framing our relationship in that she is the beautiful one and that I am the nerdy engineer that was lucky to have her. Before, when we met, she was all about making it her own way, eventually starting her own company with her sister in sourcing and recruiting. But now she jokes about driving a Range Rover and wearing Lululemon and going to yoga. We were having a discussion again about this trophy wife stuff, and she brought up that I was nerdy back in the day while she was very popular. I told her that she's not a trophy wife, that yes, she's attractive, but it's not a huge difference between us. I told her had it been the case that I met her when she was 22 and I was my current age, then sure, but she isn't 22 anymore. After I said that, she just started crying like crazy. She started saying that I think of her as ugly and used up, that her best years are behind her. She just told me that if I'm not happy to be with her, then why am I even here? And to stop wasting her time. I tried to talk to her, but she was in no state for a conversation. I don't know what to say, guys. For me, I just wanted to say that I think that we are of similar attractiveness. Like, I don't think anyone, when they see us, turns their head and is like, oh, she's with him because of the money. Oh, damn, he is so lucky to be with her. I think it's mutual. She was the one that, if anything, went after my attractiveness first. What should I do? I like the fact that we both work, and I don't want to change that dynamic. And I don't want her to think that she's above me and that I am so lucky to have her. I want her to think of us as equals, and in my attempt to do that, I hurt her feelings. What's the next move? In the comments, this seems to be a very textbook case of psychological projection. Because of your discrepancy in salary, she feels like she is worth less than you. She likely feels like her best years are behind her, seeing as you took off and are only going up. Her poking around about her being a trophy wife is her seeking validation that she is not worthless and that you still value her, and her financial contributions are nothing to be ashamed of. I don't think that she's a gold digger. I think she's taking some hits on her self-esteem, through no fault of your and her own. I think some counseling would go a long way here. DBomb18 says, I think that the trophy wife nonsense started when she found out how inadequate her money is compared to yours. She was and is ambitious. She wanted success and was confident in her achievements. When she found out that your income created something that she wanted to accomplish, but is now realizing that she may never get that type of money or success, I think it sent her into a midlife crisis. Her new perspective demonstrates her desire to be the best at something. The trophy wife you kind of described above is a new, visual, successful image to her. She has money, is beautiful, can wear the name brand clothes, do yoga, and has a husband who appreciates her for her looks because she is popular. These examples show that she wants to be appreciated and successful in some aspects of her life. I think she's going the superficial route because she feels like she hasn't achieved the success that she wanted at her age. She isn't financially as successful as you. Her job has probably peaked in salary, and she needs to feel needed, appreciated, and better than you in some way. I get that. I understand the psychology behind it, and it's good to understand why she is doing the things that she does. But how about some advice on what the hell to do about it then? Because, okay, we will validate her emotions and be like, yes, I understand where you're coming from. I'm sorry that you feel less than as a result of my success, but I want to be transparent with you so that this relationship can work. And if I feel the need to have to hide certain aspects of myself so that you don't compare yourself to me and spiral, then I don't feel like the relationship is genuine and I don't feel like it's a healthy dynamic. I understand where you're coming from, and that's why I want to help you. I want to build something with you that doesn't make you feel less than, because I, as your partner, never want you to feel like that. I want to build you up. That's what needs to be said in this instance. And if I were OP and she was genuinely saying that she was going to quit her job and live off of me and be that trophy wife, you know, a lot of people are saying it is projection, it is this, it is that. But if she is serious about it, like, that's not gonna happen. This relationship will not continue if you quit your job and live off of me. That is not realistic. So, yeah, not the asshole OP. And now, on to the update. Hey guys, so thank you all for sharing your responses. I tried my best to read through them all. I saw a lot of interesting perspectives. My only gripe with them was the fact that so many of the posts ignored so much relevant information. I had some long DMs with some people in similar situations, which was super helpful. A couple of things I want to add. To the people that said my girlfriend was a gold digger, she has climbed her own way from university to where she is now, and has a good work ethic. Also, to the people that said my girlfriend lost motivation after seeing my wealth, she's dated guys that made more than me. Overall, I wanted my girlfriend to feel special and that she is the most beautiful woman in the world. But I don't like it that she's above me, that she is on a pedestal, and that I am this inferior engineer. We had a discussion, and things honestly just got worse. I tried to talk to her, but she was just bringing up the worst things that I said to her without any of the context of her basically calling me ugly. Also, she brought up too that my dad was awkward as hell. She brings up my comment about me saying that she would be a trophy wife at 22, but not at 30. She goes on to say that all the engineers that she has met have a chip on their shoulder for not getting laid when they were in college. And she goes on to start saying that that bitterness is coming out thinking that they are entitled to a hot young girlfriend because they couldn't date them in college. And that is why I made the comment trying to tear her down. I just got frustrated. So I was like, yeah, I agree. I never was able to get the hot girl in college, and even with all the money I make, still can't get them now. So unfortunately, I have to go second-hand and with a couple of wrinkles. Again, this just set things off, where she called me a misogynist for calling her second-hand, said that I treated her like a used car, and I'm pretty sure when she tells her friends about our fight, that's what she will tell them. I don't know what to say. It was just ridiculous. Like, she started this whole thing that I can't get the girls that I supposedly really want. Like, she's the one making this whole dating thing into haves and have-nots. So if you want that analogy, I will play that analogy too. I just agreed with it, and now I am the bad guy. I don't know what to do. She will say 10 bad things about me, that I was ugly, that I'm lucky to be with her, but when I respond, she blows up and storms out. I don't know what the hell to do. Like, we had fights before, but this just seems to be impossible. We had decent communication before, but now it's trash. I don't know what to do. Like, I'm more than open to talk without putting each other down, but she really wants me to be in some subservient position? I don't know. Maybe in her past relationships, she had that power over guys, where they were like, oh my god, I am dating someone so attractive. But I'm not okay with that. I don't know what she wants at this point. It seems like she's looking for a reason to break up. I know some people are saying break up, but I really was hoping to settle down soon. I hate the idea of starting from scratch all over again in dating. Like, we had so many amazing times together and a good idea of the future. I was excited. Someone beautiful and ambitious, and I get along with well? Now this? 2 months ago, we were talking about rings, how many people we would have at our wedding, whether we will send our kids to private school or not. Please send me your analysis of this situation. If there's something from the female perspective I don't understand, please tell me. I don't want to let this go without putting in my all, but I'm not going to be in a subservient position. What should I do? How can I handle this properly? In the comments, Quote, I hate the idea of starting from scratch all over again in dating. If this is your main reason for wanting to stay together, it's a terrible reason. Just call it a day. End it. I think you would both be better off away from each other because this hitting you where it hurts style of arguing is only setting you up for a lifetime of misery. This really struck a chord with me too. Also how he said that she was beautiful, as if that was the main goal in having a partner. Unfortunately, I have to go second-hand, has yikes stamped on it in 104-point font, man. There are a ton of responses here that come down to she deserved it, or lol, you get what you give, etc. I'd say the same thing that I said in the last thread for this. People with this tit-for-tat kind of relationship attitude are immature and do not belong in a relationship. Really, really sad and concerning to see this much support for hitting as hard as you can back, where it hurts, at someone you supposedly love. If you can't communicate that something they said to you hurts you, if they don't listen to you, leave the relationship. I cannot comprehend insulting my partner like this during a fight, and I'm still gobsmacked both of these people are 31 and 30. Tearing them down like this sends a signal that you're either done with the relationship or that you disdain them just that much, when disdain has been shown through research to be a relationship killer. I'd be astounded if anyone responding that way has a healthy attitude in their romantic relationships. Yeah, he's going to think her trophy wife comment is what broke them up, when it's really this one-upping each other's hurtful comments that's causing the damage. If their default is a you versus me attitude, then they were never going to make it long-term anyway. Now there's the relationship advice that I was looking for. Maybe I was naive in that first one, thinking that this was a relationship that could be salvaged, because, you know, that update gave us a lot more information on the relationship dynamic. If you hate your partner so much that you're not going to diffuse the situation and you're just going to keep one-upping each other in the most spiteful and disgusting ways that you can, just tearing at each other's deepest insecurities and doubling down, what do you expect? Do you expect the relationship to go well? Do you expect the sunk cost fallacy to save you here and be like, you know, I've already invested a year into this relationship. It was perfect, so why is it not perfect now? God, I hate my girlfriend so much and she hates me and we're constantly fighting, but I can't give up this relationship. I am stressed out on your behalf. Like, why? Why would you want to stay with that person? She makes me feel like shit, but I love her. No, you don't. She's a terrible person, and you're a terrible person back in your responses. You guys are not good for each other. Thank you for the story, but please break up and find someone that doesn't bring out the worst in you. Our next post is by user Proper Meringue, and it's titled, Am I the asshole here for telling my niece that the family does not like her fiancé and that I won't be at her wedding? So for context, there's a 21-year age gap between myself and my eldest brother. This made it so that me, 28 female, and his oldest daughter, 23 female, are very close in age and have grown up very close. I am very much the favorite aunt and have always considered us friends, not just family. She comes to me when she has a problem that she didn't want to talk to her parents about. She tells me about her boyfriend and friend problems. She would call me when she was in college and needed a pickup from a party or bar, and I was the first person she told when her boyfriend proposed, calling me at 6 a.m. in the morning after because she was so excited to tell me. Some context on her fiancé. They've been together for 3 years, and he's 1 year younger than her. She just graduated college in May 2024, and he's on track to graduate in May of 2025. They have their wedding scheduled for just a week after his graduation. He's studying biochemical and microengineering and is very smart. He's more on the introverted side with a dry humor. Since she introduced him to the family, we could tell they're serious and tried to be as welcoming as possible, inviting him to family events and on trips, getting him birthday and Christmas presents, and genuinely trying to get to know him. Whenever he's around our family, he acts annoyed all the time, like it's painful to spend time with us, and he expects my niece to stay by his side the whole function, getting annoyed if any of the little cousins ask her to play, including my children. More context, my niece is my children's godmother, and expects her to leave at the same time as him, even if they drove separately. My eldest brother is constantly advocating for him, saying he's just introverted, and that the size of our family makes him uncomfortable, insisting that he's different when it's smaller groups or one-on-one. But I haven't seen it, even when it was just the two of them with myself and my husband. He talks to everyone like we're stupid and is extremely condescending. When they got engaged, things got worse. With how close we are, I was expecting to be asked to be a part of the wedding party, but she did not ask me. I was a little hurt, but I chose to let it go because it's her special day and her choice. Then his family planned the engagement party and didn't invite any of my party. She explained that it was just a small affair, just their parents and siblings, but I later found out that she lied to me when I saw pictures on social media. I did confront her about that, but she said that she didn't plan the guest list, so I tried to let that go too. Then she didn't invite myself or my mum to her dress outing, saying that it was a limited number of people allowed and that she wanted to make sure that his mum and sisters could come with her. After that, I told her that it really seemed like she was trading our family for his family. She said she wasn't, but when I asked them later how they planned to spend the holidays, he said they'd spend them with his family. My last straw was over December and January. In December, she invited me and my husband over for dinner. I was excited because she hadn't initiated us hanging out since her engagement. Dinner was nice. It was a little awkward since conversation wasn't smooth with her fiancé, but it was pleasant enough. When the check came, my husband took care of it after it sat on the table for about 15 minutes, and they didn't offer to split or even pay, even though they invited us. Then, when we were ready to go, they asked if we could have a serious conversation. I was confused as to why we didn't have it during the meal, but they proceeded to ask us for money to pay for their wedding. She said that it was turning out to be more expensive than they thought, and they needed help since their parents don't make enough. I asked why they didn't wait until he was working and not just in an unpaid internship, or until she got a full-time job instead of a part-time job. I said that I wasn't saying no, but just that I wanted to understand why they wanted to have their wedding so fast. The wedding is about 8 months after their engagement. That conversation devolved into an argument about financial responsibility, where her fiancé said if we can help, then we should, because we are family. And then following up with us having plenty of time to re-save, when my husband explained a lot of our money was invested into our children's future. After we offered $2,000 as a little something to help, my niece brought up savings from my deceased husband's life insurance. I asked if she really thought bringing up my deceased husband was going to help her. We then repeated our offer of $2,000, and he asked if that was all that we'd really give them, so we withdrew the offer. We left enraged. Then before Christmas, my mum invited them over to bake because the fiancé enjoys baking desserts and bread. He was so rude to her throughout that she came over for some grandkid time and tea because she was so sad. My dad was pissed, and then neither my niece or fiancé came to Christmas. We had a family get-together around New Year's, and when we were driving two of my brothers and their wives home, we had a conversation about how sick everyone was of the fiancé and how we wished they weren't getting married. Finally, in January, it was my parents' 50th wedding anniversary. I planned a party for them, and then they were going to go to Mexico, which was group financed by myself and my siblings for our parents. Fiancé was only coming to the party as he couldn't miss school for Mexico. The party was fancy. RSVP invitations, private venue, catered semi-formal dress code. A week before, my niece texted me and let me know that fiancé wasn't going to come to the party because of a fraternity event. I told her that this was an important family event, and on top of that, it was rude to skip out on an event that you've RSVP'd to without a good reason, and made it clear that I didn't consider his fraternity a good reason, considering how long he's known about the event. She said she would talk to him, but I never heard back, so I was unsure if he was going to come. The day of, he showed up late wearing a t-shirt, jeans, and backward cap. My mum, still trying to be nice, said that she was glad that he was there, and he responded, like I had a choice. He then stayed in his seat, not speaking to the people at his table or participating in the activities. About halfway through, we were taking a family picture and invited him to be in it, and he said, "This isn't my family." My mum started crying and excused herself to the bathroom. I pulled him aside and snapped. I told him that if he didn't want to be in this family, to get the hell out. That I was tired of dealing with his attitude and disrespect and pretending to like him, and I told him to leave. When my niece went to follow him, I told her that if she went with him, that she should forget coming to Mexico with us. She didn't follow him, but she made it clear that she was upset that he had been kicked out. The adults in the family, about 12 of us, sat down with her to air out our grievances about her fiancé with her so that she understood the extent of the problem. But she still defended him, saying that we just didn't know him as well, and that we made him uncomfortable. After that conversation, I told my husband that I just couldn't act like nothing was wrong anymore. So he declined on the RSVP to the wedding. She texted me, asking why we said no, and I met her for coffee. I explained to her that I didn't feel like I could support her marriage and that he wasn't a good person. I felt like her independence and everything that was special about her was disappearing behind his expectations. She disagreed and told me that I just didn't understand. She then told me that if I really cared about her, that I should suck it up and come to the wedding. So am I the asshole here? Should we go to the wedding? And was I wrong for telling her in the first place? Update: my niece was raised in a Christian household, and she chose to maintain her faith while in college when she did live independently, on scholarship in student-subsidized housing with one roommate away from parents for 4 years. And from what I understand, her fiancé is too. They don't live together, and they don't do overnights by their own choice. She has returned to living with her parents because she is broke and unmotivated, and he lives in a frat house. 1 million eye rolls just happened. Her parents also expect her to follow their rules, including a curfew while living at home, in respect for the routine that has been established for her special needs sister. So while I do agree with the assessment that he's setting her up to be isolated, they aren't currently in a situation or the privacy for financial or emotional abuse. I do also think he's a narcissist. She agreed to sit down and talk with me again, and I was able to better articulate my concerns for her future and what she is setting herself up for, and my concerns about him. We are still not going to the wedding. I explained to her that part of it is because I love her, that ultimately it's supposed to be a special day for her, and that with the way that I feel about him, that I would object to the union in front of everyone as opposed to privately. I told her that whatever she chooses, that I'm always specifically in her corner, and that I hope that she will still want to spend time with me and my kids, but more than that, to know that she can come to me anytime for anything, and that for her sake, I do hope that I'm wrong about him. We did get her a few things off the registry that I knew were more for her than him. She said that she would think about everything, so we'll see what happens between now and then. And to the person who said they thought that I didn't think it through on what this might mean for the future, I can assure you I did. My family means the world to me, and I don't want to hurt her or my relationship with her, but we got to the point where I couldn't stay quiet and pretend like there wasn't anything wrong. Thanks to everyone for the input. It really helped me organize my thoughts and think through everything that has happened. In the comments, not the asshole, but I don't think you were seeing things clearly. The guy made her own grandma cry, and she defends him. You all act as if he is the problem here, but she is choosing him. She is defending him. He is that way because she allows it to be. He made her grandma cry, and she still said that you were all in the wrong. She's not some silly child blinded by love. She sees what he does, but still chooses him when he so blatantly disrespects all of you. She is the arsehole here. Well, the fiancé too, of course, but it wouldn't matter if she was not choosing him. Stop believing that she's just some misguided child. She's an adult and making very clear choices. Not the asshole. I like how when asking for money, y'all are all family, but when it's time to take a picture, y'all aren't family. I would let your niece know that while you don't support her marriage, you support her and will be there for her if she needs to leave. Not the asshole. He really said, "This isn't my family," at a 50th anniversary party after begging for wedding money. You dodged a bullet not funding his big day. Yeah, this is definitely a situation where you can lead a horse to water, you can show a horse all of the data, you can play back recordings of other horses dying from dehydration, and you still will not be able to convince the horse to drink, no matter what. This is a horse that is hell-bent on dying of dehydration, and there is nothing you can do or say to change its mind because its mind is made up. I'm convinced this is as much a her problem as it is a him problem. They are both very sad and I'd say degenerate individuals in the way that they conduct themselves. Him being such an asshole when this family is so inviting and accepting of him, and him continually attacking them, berating them, and putting them down, that's degenerate behavior. He is a degenerate. Her enabling it, her excusing it, and her refusing to acknowledge that he's doing anything wrong is degenerate behavior. They are both degenerates for what they are doing. Again, you gotta let these people make the mistakes that they are bound to make. Let them feel the consequences of their behavior. Know that you are not doing the wrong thing if you take your hands off the wheel and say, "Hey, Jesus, you take the wheel, buddy. I don't want any more of this. I don't want to be involved." Don't go to the wedding, don't financially support them, but do make it very clear to her that you are there for her when she falls on her ass. When she needs help, herself, when he is not in the picture, you are there for her because you care. Because she ultimately is worth it, but she's going to have to make some mistakes along the way. Not the asshole. And now, on to the update. So I honestly wasn't sure if I was going to have anything else to update after my husband and I decided not to go to the wedding, and figured that if I did have more to update, it wouldn't be until after the wedding. But holy hell, was I wrong. I figured that I'd share since so many people were invested and gave great advice when I needed it before. So first off, my daughter and I ended up going to the bridal shower at the end of April. My niece asked me repeatedly to come, and I figured that things would be relatively drama-free since the fiancé doesn't get to come to that. I asked in advance if she was sure she wanted my daughter to come since she's under 10. I was assured that there would be other children there and that my niece really wanted her goddaughter there. Skip to the day of, and my daughter was the only child. One of my sister-in-laws even told me that she was told not to bring her 3 daughters, 1 older and 2 younger than my daughter. The maternal aunt kept scolding my daughter for touching things, even though I was keeping an eye on her and she did no such thing. The mother of the groom asked if I was purposely trying to ruin the event, and the groom's sister said that it was rude of me to bring her. Degenerate family. I was ready to just walk out, but the bride's 19-year-old sister took my daughter to play in her room upstairs. My other niece that took her upstairs has special needs and had said that she was feeling overstimulated, but the bride was still upset that she didn't stay downstairs for the whole event. The bride never even said hi to my daughter, making her feel very sad when we went home. We played those How Well Do You Know the Bride games, which I won, prompting my niece to say that I was basically her best friend, causing an awkward silence as the room became confused as to why I wasn't in her wedding party. Extra special surprise for me when I found out that all the groom's sisters are in her bridal party, but her best friend and her own sister are not. About a week later, we got together to celebrate my dad's birthday. When my mum invited them, the fiancé responded, "If I don't have anything better to do, then I might come." My mum didn't hear anything else, so assumed that he wasn't coming, and when he showed up, she had to set a place for him, prompting him to play the victim, saying that we don't want him around. He then had to be asked to put his phone away at the table while we were all eating, and no one else had their phones with them. The final straw for my parents was twofold. They asked about the rehearsal dinner because you'd think the grandparents of the bride would be invited. They were told that it was wedding party only, which basically includes the groom's whole family. I later found out through other people that the groom's grandparents were going to the rehearsal dinner because they came from out of state and wanted as much time with the grandkids as they could get. I kept that tidbit to myself because I didn't want my parents to be more hurt than they already were feeling. They then had the audacity to ask my parents to hang out with the bride's sister since she doesn't do well staying at home alone, and they would all be busy at the dinner. The second thing was that the bride asked my mum what she'd be wearing to the wedding specifically, asking if she was going to be buying a new dress. My mum said that she wasn't buying something new because she already had a nice dress. My niece responded that my mum dresses old-fashioned and frumpy, and that she didn't think anything she already had would be appropriate for the wedding. My mum is very stylish for her age, mid-70s, and the dress that she had picked out was gorgeous. My mum told her that she was being rude, but that she would give her the benefit of the doubt because planning a wedding was stressful, and sent her a picture of the dress. She then told my niece that she had gotten it for her best friend's daughter's wedding and had only ever worn it that once, so my niece hadn't seen it before. My niece responded, I guess it's okay. And my mum felt very defeated, and my dad had had enough. He responded on their behalf with, "From our various interactions, it does not seem that you want us to be participants in your special day. Your grandmother and I will no longer be attending your wedding." They then returned their wedding gifts. My husband and I decided to do the same. And now, from my side of the family, the only ones that are going are 2 of my 5 siblings. One because it's his daughter, and one because his wife is playing the guitar during the ceremony and he did not want her going alone. She does piano or acoustic guitar accompaniment for special events professionally, and she had committed before the bulk of the drama happened, and did not want to harm her professional reputation by backing out last minute. That brother has let everyone know that they will not be staying past the ceremony, that his kids are hanging out with Grammy and Gramps, and that he's going full petty by wearing jeans, t-shirt and hat, just like the fiancé did to our parents' 50th anniversary celebration. That's all I've got for now, and I don't know what else could happen at this point, but I'll keep you updated. The wedding is 1 week away. In the comments, OP on her niece and the fiancé's plans after graduation and wedding. They've got a 1-bedroom apartment lined up that had to be co-signed by a parent. He also had a conditional offer from the place that he interned with during school, pending his graduation, which just happened last week. Yes, their wedding and his graduation are only 2 weeks apart. None of us went to his graduation, so after the honeymoon, he should have a big boy job. Why was OP's daughter the only child invited to the bridal party? OP says, "I did not. It kind of seemed like a wires crossed situation. Sister-in-law with the little nieces was told not to by sister-in-law who was mother of the bride, but I was told yes by the bride. So my guess is just poor communication between the 2 of them." And a further comment with more information. So, to address a few things that I've noticed popping up, the reason the fiancé was invited to the family dinner was my mum. We, her children, have asked her to stop inviting him to things because he always inevitably ruins the atmosphere, but she's a part of the generation where family always gets another chance and you do everything to keep the peace. We are slowly but surely helping her establish and keep healthy boundaries, but she was also holding on to hope that she would be gaining a grandson and not losing a granddaughter. My niece is absolutely contributing to the problem. She did not used to be this way. As I've said before, we were good friends. She's the godmother to my kids, and was in both my weddings. I noticed her becoming more self-centered as she gained independence in college. I hoped that it would get better, but it's gotten worse, contributed to by the dipshit and his family. I'm trying to find the balance in letting her know that I love her, and that if she's in trouble or needs help, that we are here. But that her current attitude and actions are unacceptable and unsupported. Sometimes she does acknowledge that he's rude, but also has an excuse lined up like school stress, internship workload, bad day sort of stuff. It just always comes back to, he's a good guy and we just don't know him well enough. I think my brother is in denial and just doesn't want to admit that his daughter is getting into a bad thing. He is full of all of the excuses too, i.e., introverted, not comfortable with large groups, stressed, tired, smart to the detriment of social skills. We have heard it all. It's kind of hard to ignore when your whole family decides not to show up to the wedding though, so maybe it'll kick some sense into him. He was very angry when I sent him screenshots of the texts between his daughter and our mum though, so I'll give him props for that one. Beach Polini says, this is going to crash and burn within the next 5 years, with at least one toddler along for the ride, if not 2 or more. I can already tell. Or they're going to be these miserable couples that stay together for the kids. Meanwhile, if their kids could, they'd be the ones divorcing their parents for their own sanity. And if they do have kids, I'm sure the kids will be going no contact with the both of them when they're 18. That's a lot of words for OP to still not fully realize how much her niece just sucks on her own. Cognitive dissonance is a hell of a drug. You see it with family members of people who are genuinely terrible people, felony-level offenses. They simply cannot allow themselves to see them as anything other than the sweet kid that they knew growing up. I'm not surprised that it's hard to break when the person is just generally kind of a dick, especially because it sounded like OP grew up with them more of as a pseudo-little sister rather than a niece. What an exhausting family. And yeah, look, I don't fault OP for wanting to pick her up if she falls and when she falls, but maybe, listen to the comments and realize she might have changed. She might have evolved into a genuinely terrible person with very little redeeming qualities right now. Maybe I need to take a step back, listen to the other people around me, and realize that she actually does suck a lot more than I'm giving her credit for, and that she is her own worst enemy in this situation. She is going to cut herself off from everyone that loves her, and it will be her fault. She has had enough chances, and she has doubled down and spat on those trying to help her every single time. I am exhausted with her, and I don't even know her. If I was in that family, I'd be staying the hell away from her. What a load of nonsense, these two. They sound like they deserve each other, and I hope that they are very unhappy in each other's presence. Good luck with the marriage, you two. I'm sure it's gonna go well. And that's where I'm going to end today's episode, guys. I do hope you enjoyed. If you did, let me know what you thought of it in the comments down below, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.